Hi people, welcome to BK Jazz Dance. Part of my work is to come back and raise male dancing. And I've done that most of my life from 1972. I went to a Catholic primary school. I was one of a few blacks. I was the best dancer there. I was the best Irish dancer in the school. The best British and European folk dancer was me. The best Irish dancer in the school. The best creative dancer. The best disco dancer in the school. I was not a natural. I worked on it. I had problems, dyslexic problems to do with right leg and left leg. 0 to 6 years, I was self-determined to become a dancer, good dancer like my dad and my mum. My mum and dad were good dancers. I had coordination problems. I didn't know my right foot from my left foot. A lot of problems. I couldn't really speak that well. I was shy. There was all sorts of things I had. But what I had self-determination and focus, which sees from here. This picture is taken in 2011, and it's important. It saved my career. Quickly, you'll hear me say the story, but it's an important story. 99.9% of my archive of me dancing to influence other individuals was destroyed in a house fire in 2012. I didn't have anything, but I had like 99.9% was lost. I tried to gain photographs from me being on the scene, dance culture scene in London. Couldn't get it since 1980. I've been unable to get photographs. The first time I ever got photographs was through a dance friend of mine. 2015 was the first time I received a photograph of me being in London, and that was me dancing at Dingwalls. People have taken video of me, and when you see me, what happens is I'm very photogenic, you see, very dynamic. People love the way I dance. That's why they photograph me. Do you understand? A lot of people take photographs of me in London, North, South, even parts of the world, and they say they're going to send you photographs and they don't. What can you do? Right, so I'm giving indication. But one of the key things why I dance, people ask me why I dance, to inspire dancers, because one of the key things was I had no hang-ups about any type of dance that I came to do. The reason is I was born in 1964. Between 64 and 70, I watched musicals. You've seen all types of dancing musicals. You see people do ballet, you see people tap dance on skates, you see synchronized swimming. So I was open. I wanted to be an entertainer. I wanted to basically be on Broadway. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be an entertainer. I'd be like a Sammy Davis Jr., a guy called John Bubbles, another gentleman called Bojangles, black dancers I saw, the Nicholas Brothers, all them things. We seen these films. At some point, we seen these films growing up with blacks in it, and I wanted to be a jazz dancer, yeah? So I didn't have no hang-ups, but the society had hang-ups, yeah, about anything. But my work, I broke stereotypes over and over again because I was a leading dancer in my primary school, as well as a leading sports person. And that's what broke it, because people couldn't really talk to you because they said, basically, dance is an effeminate thing. Dance is a warrior thing. It's an athletic thing, just like sports. And I was breaking it. I was the first child in the school, 8 years old in my primary, to play for all years going up. And the first person ever to be the top dancer, best dancer, better dancers than the girls. Do you understand? Right. And they were my friends. I taught a lot of people to dance, because what was beautiful, disco dancing came up when I was at primary school. So I was a disco dance champion, but I taught everybody wanted to learn disco because disco was a cool thing to do. So I taught a lot of people to disco dance. From 73 to 83, I taught a lot of people disco dancing. In 81, what happened, I started to explore ballet secretly because of the stigmatization. But what happened, people were unaware. A lot of martial artists, I was into sports science and dance science. And what happened, a lot of martial artists knew that ballet strengthened your legs. Even a lot of football coaches who'd done sports coaching knew ballet strengthens your legs. That's why they would send players. They would do it secretly because what happened, stigmatization. So Rio Ferdinand used to do ballet. Many dancers did. Many footballers did, to strengthen the legs. So I came from a scientific point of view, and it led to me going to Bedfordshire College. That's at Bedford. I was the leading dancer in Bedfordshire among males and females. But I have to say, there was only 2 males there. So among the females, they had the extremely good dancers. It didn't really matter. It don't matter how good you're at ballet. I was as good as some of the ballet dancers. I was one of the leading dancers among the females to do with ballet and contemporary. That's it, simply it is. And so this photograph is brilliant because what happened was, like I said, 99.9% of the footage I lost. But what happened was, this photograph tells people I'm a professional, I'm focused, I'm serious about what I do. And what it did, it inspires other dancers. Other dancers are inspired to hear my story, because I didn't expect to be a professional dancer. I didn't expect to do ballet. But my journey to ballet was different to other people's. It came from a scientific point of view. As a person, what a dancer does who wants to develop themselves, the best dancers always are reaching for things in order to keep growing and improving. And it was exploring dance was one of them. Now, I got stigmatized because I did that. I didn't care about that, and that was one of the things that people loved. Then I started to explore capoeira, started to explore African dance, and African dance came a stigma similar to boom ballet dance. It was nothing to do with being gay now. It was to do with this is an inferior dance form. It has no technique. I met a lot of teachers say they're teaching African dance. They asked me, does African dance have a technique? Could never believe it had technique. And African dance were people who never done African dance, didn't know African dance as a technique. I said, all dancing stems from African dance. They were shocked. Ballet dance came in 1400s. 3000 BC, African dance where people were dancing. They were jumping in the air. The dances relate to nature. You've got it all wrong. Because people are taught class, subject. They're not taught the history of how moves came about. So what happened in African culture, to spin meant you were symbolized that you were trying to go back to meet the spirits. Have you got that? Bent knees meant you wanted to connect with the earth. Twerking, when you have this twerking, it was not about that. It was a symbolic dance to talk about procreation, because they had rites of passage dances. That was part of the virgin dance. Dance was used as a rites of passage. They had warrior dances. And one of the things that enabled me to engage males in what I'm doing, because I was a warrior. I'm a warrior dancer, and this photograph shows it. When people see me go to stage, they talk a lot about my power. They talk a lot about my physicality. They talk a lot about my musicality, okay? They talk about my style. And the best style to influence people to get into dance is jazz. So these are some of the photographs. So here's a picture. I used to do b-boying. Do you get what I mean? That's how I inspired individuals, because one of the individuals, I was doing all different styles. Yeah, my art form involves me in learning different styles of dance. And that's how I inspired males to get into dance, because I was, like I said, part of my role. I was a role model for male dancing, but I put on projects to get males into dance. And I understand how people start to look at, see dancers who did dance as effeminate, because there is effeminate people in the dance world, particularly in the Western world of dance. But in the African diaspora world of dance, you understand our history, males dance, and it was part of our warrior culture. This is an amazing dancer. This is a really powerful, amazing physical dancer from a group called Brothers in Jazz. Yeah. Now, what happened was in 1986, this is a very important photograph for me to talk about dance development. What happened in 1986, a film called Absolute Beginners came out. 3 of the best UK jazz dance groups, that's a UK jazz dance umbrella term for UK undergraduate jazz dancers. What happened was, amazing story, the dances got trashed. They weren't portrayed in a positive light. The guys lost their credibility because they tried to commercialize the dance. The dance was shown in a colonialized perspective. Dancers overnight retired. Now what happened was a problem. This dancer here called Samson, what happened was we were looking for this film to open doors for dancers who self-trained themselves. Have you got that? Like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson opened the door for dancers to get jobs in the world of the mainstream world of dance who had self-trained themselves. So we were looking at that. This is an amazing dancer called Samson. He was looking for that. But you see what the film did? It debased his style, which is fusion. He was doing a fusion style. It debased him in the film. It didn't show it in proper light. So what happened was nobody wanted anything to do with fusion style that he did. Another group did mambo. Nobody wanted to do anything with it because they feminized it. And then what another group was supposed to be in it, they didn't end up in the film. They were from Birmingham, one from Manchester. So they debased all the styles, so people walked away from it. What happened to Samson now? What happened to Samson? Samson wanted to get into dance. But what happened, the only way he could get into dance, mainstream dance, if he had done ballet and contemporary. I already done that. As I said to you, as individuals, you look before you leap. Samson never looked before he leapt, because they were among the fusion guys. Many fusion guys were against ballet. They were the ones debased the dance. But they never realized, if you really want to be a dancer, in this world, you should look before you leap. And I did. From 81 to 86, I was doing contemporary ballet, allowed me to co-found the first ever contemporary dance company, which enabled me to go on and develop my dancing. Samson, after a while, had to retire because there wasn't opportunities for his dance. That's what happened, people. Because what happens, because the prejudices they had, prejudices can maybe to cut off your nose to spite your face. If you want to be in the dance world, you make sure you're versatile, and that's what I did. I did tap, I did African, I did contemporary, I did capoeira, I did all different types. So when people called me, I was renowned as a versatile dancer. I didn't have hang-ups about this thing. You're gay if you do ballet. What's that got to do with it? People are gay and they don't do ballet. So that don't make no sense to me as an individual. But what happened, the dancers there's a lot of stigmatization. It was because of the sports teachers. People grew up. Sports teachers were very, very against anti-ballet, and they were male, basically. It's a feminine thing. But I broke that because what happened in 1986, I co-founded the first ever contemporary dance company. And I was working in Greater Manchester, in 30-mile radius and beyond. And I was going into schools. I broke every stereotype you could have because the teacher said I was gay. I was the leading sports. When I went to the school, people couldn't believe how good I was at football. They couldn't believe how good I was at athletics. They couldn't believe how good I was at cricket. They couldn't believe all these things. But I used to tell them that. When I went in, I showed them examples. Here's a prime example. This is me in theatre. What happened, when I did dance, I always did something that was accessible to get them involved. This is me in Black Heroes Hall of Fame in 1992. But if you know anything about contemporary dance, the early stages of dances, a lot of male dances that were done were around sports. Do you understand? Right. So what happened, I created a dance around sports. I created dance around American football. To show them movement, development. You can create a dance from sports. And that's what I did. And I was a sports person. So I used to play football with them. Broke everything, every teacher. And the teachers that were in the school were Western teachers who were anti-dance. I challenged them in the school and made a mockery of them. Because what happened, they used to try to make a mockery of me in the school. But they never knew that I was a leading sportsman. I brought my medals from sports, being at Sale Harriers, my time at Lancashire Cricket Ground, Flixton Boys. I brought photographs, I brought portfolio people. They were shocked because people in their school hadn't represented their own developing sports. And I had a record here, and I talked about sports. Dancing is an athletic ability. You have to have a science. For you to jump in this way, you have to have scientific knowledge. You can't just jump and make it look so easy. I had the training knowledge, and it came from my mother because my mother wanted to be a nurse, an athlete. My dad was an athlete. The teacher I had, who taught me academic study, rehabilitation counsellor for many years from 8 to 26, he wanted to be a doctor. So I know a lot about physiology and anatomy. And I was the one that broke it when I went into schools. I broke, and colleges and universities, and just generally, because people used to come to me with a lot of stereotypes. But what happened was, through having a teacher called Sir Roy Blackman, Mr. Blackman taught me you must challenge stereotypes about anything that you're involved in. And that's what I did. I challenged people's stereotypes associated with dance. Yeah, and I always did that as an individual, which was important for me to do as an individual. So that's what I did. So here's the prime example of this is why I carry photographs. And I created a project called Rebirth of the Cool, trying to show you. This is a picture of me in a dance competition in '09. I've got photographs and video of it to show people. Because at university, I was at university, last stages of university, and I got blood poisoning raging through my body, not knowing. At this time, I was recording my life and my culture in dance. It's more than what you think. I'm actually at university studying sports science to develop my dancing. That's where I, as an individual. So people were shocked when I met them. What are you doing? Well, I'm still in dance. Oh, that dance thing. That's what people said. Well, you don't know nothing about dance. Dance is the #1 activity known to be at people's cultural life now at the moment as individual. And what's happening is changing males' lives in the world as an individual. And what happened is I clipped what I did as an individual. I merged it with hip-hop. I merged it with house. And this is my project, one of the projects I'm doing. New Blue K Jazz Dance Leadership. And that leadership back to the old school. Talking about old school, what happened, I talk about the stigmatizations that were placed on the dancers. Many dancers retired or they didn't explore other dance forms because of people, what people said. I never did that. One of the things that dance made me was free-spirited as an individual. I went out and explored different dance styles, and I challenged. Don't just be on the sidelines. I was an individual, challenged people's stereotypes about me and created photographs. And this photograph's one of the best photographs taken in 2011. This is part of me in mixed movement. Again, when I went to stage, I promoted male dancing. That's what I'm doing here. As well as promoting my art form, but I'm promoting male dancing because many males still, what they don't explore the dance styles. People want to get into the industry. I'm called as an advanced dance leader. I've been called to create programs to get other dancers in. And I'm saying many dancers are not versatile. You need to be able to act. You need to be able to sing. You need to be able to do different styles. And what you most importantly should be,